Now we're back to where we were before. Remember this part? That's where the green gun is, right? And then you come here, and you end up taking all those cubes. Okay. You fill this up. Because we already done this before. You already know that you can do this, right? And then you take all these. And then take these as well. And now, right, you want to do this room, right? We've already done this left one. We already done the forward. We already gone forward as well, right? Now we want to do this one. Why? Because, well, first off, the arrow is telling you to go that way, right? And now the room behind it is yellow, and you have a yellow gun. So now it seems likely that you can, very possible, right, that you can do this room now. Just because everything is telling you to do that, right? So let's see what happens when we try to absorb it, right? Alright, it's not doing anything, right? So you can't really go in there. So let's try to think of. Oh my god, that's so troll. Okay. So if you think of what was already presented to us, what's the new feature that the yellow gun can do, right? And it's you're able to hold. Oh my god. That's so troll. I've never seen this before. That's pretty troll. Let's hope it doesn't do that. Okay, but you know the new thing that your yellow gun can do is you can take all those cubes, right, and move it to a different area. That's what your yellow gun can do for you. Right, and you notice if you try taking the cubes, it ends up just regenerating or doing something stupid, as you saw before. But okay, now let's see what happens when we move the cube. And I'm noticing it creates a natural path for me. And notice it retains the amount of yellow cubes it already has, right? So if there's three, let's say there's 3 cubes here, right? And you want to move it, it's going to keep all 3 cubes, right? It's not going to destroy any of them, right? I'll take more cubes. Some obstacles are more stubborn than others. I guess it's talking about that, right? You try to take it, it keeps regenerating. You just have to. Now you're naturally progressing, right? You started out at 1, right? Now you're at 2. And you notice there's numbers up there as well, right? And if you notice, if you went through different rooms, right, you saw, right? You saw that you can go, what was it? You seen, I think before there was a room where you saw 3, right? Now you see how this all connects, right? And this is just, they call it climbing the tower, right? That's the title of this is. You start off at 1, then you want to keep going up in numbers, so this is 2. And you can always go back to those numbers as well. And there's no need to, but you can. That is an option that you can do. So if I go to 3, I can go back to 2 and then go back to 1. I can't do that right now. I can only do that when I go to 3. Right? So 2 is just a natural progression. So do the same thing, take a cube. Now you notice, right? I'm back to the room where right, I'm back to the place where the left part was impossible because there was yellow cubes there, right? And I didn't have a yellow gun, but I was able to do this one. Was I able to do this one? I don't think I did this one. No, because I didn't have the green gun either. There's two ways I can go. I don't know which way is, but I want to go both ways. So let's see what happens if I go this way. Okay. But now you notice, right? As before, the same as before, right? I can't store cubes because of that yellow liquid. But now I have something new I can do, right? I can move these cubes now, right? I can't take these cubes, but I can still move them. That's the new thing that was presented to me. Well, if you try doing it, you end up realizing you can move these cubes through that liquid. And if you didn't do that, right, let's say you didn't keep all those cubes for some reason, right, you can end up getting one of these cubes and moving it to this one. They end up connecting, right? And then once you connect them all together, you can take them out. And now you have one more cube than you did before. Same thing here. You can bring a cube, bring it down there, get another cube, connect all three, and then take it out. Right? If you didn't bring any cubes with you, that's what you can do. Because there's cubes already there for you, right? So that's what you can do. Now, you can fill it all up, and now you're moving on. 3. If you lead the way, others will. So see here, you can go to 1. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. This one is a bit tricky. And this is just showing you natural progression. Because you've seen this room before, right? And when you were walking on the bridge and you jumped down, right? And if you notice there is I guess they're not showing you. But there's a room down here, right? This is just showing you, here's a puzzle that you couldn't do before, but now you can do it because you have the tool to do it. Oh, hey Zune, Happy New Year. I've been great. Just really tired resting. I've been doing really well. Right. Now you think about, okay, what new tools were presented to me, right? Now, you know you can move these, right? You can't put extra blocks in there, but you can move these, right? You try moving these, right? And you see that this is impossible. Well, not impossible, but it's difficult to do, right? For this one, what is it? This is where it becomes difficult because you have to figure out on your own what you can do, right? Like how to solve this puzzle in a different way, right? Because you already know all the tools that are presented to you. You already done all the previous puzzles, but this one seems a little bit different because you can move these, right? But you can't fill up all the entire one. And you can't add new cubes too. You try to like do the center, it doesn't work. And the only reason why I know this is possible is because there's yellow cubes. Does that make sense? So you have a yellow gun, you see yellow cubes, so it's like, okay, I have to be able to do this because I have a yellow gun and there's yellow blocks. That's the only reason, that's the only logical reason behind this, right? When you go through all the frustrations and stuff, you realize if you take the center part, you end up being able to isolate all the cubes on the outer edge. But this one, you just naturally have to figure out on your own. This is where Antichamber becomes difficult, right? And becomes rewarding when you just try to figure out how to do it, right? And I can understand why someone wouldn't be able to go through this. This took me a while to do as well. It's not like I figured it out in 2 seconds. I had to try to see what would happen if I remove one part and try to move it, remove another, remove the center, move it, right? If that would work. I tried to see if I move them all together, what would happen, stuff like that. And then you end up figuring out you can isolate a certain cube, move it off. And you kind of naturally know that too. Let me go through here. Splitting a problem up may help you find the answer. You can see what they mean by that, right? You splitting all this up. Careful. You can move back to the other ones too. Alright. If you can't figure it out as well, you can always exit out, right? And look at the title of it. There's a title for it. It's not that. Because this one just says like. So this one, it says pulling both ways. Right? And you can kind of see. I don't think you're supposed to see that. But you can think about it and say like, how do I pull two different cubes in two different directions, right? The way you can do that is you get rid of the centerpiece, right? And that's just figuring it out through reading the title, figuring out through what can your yellow gun do, and how can you use it in different ways, right? Then that's how you figure it out. Now we're at 4. Yeah, this one's asking if you can fly. You can't fly. You can jump down, right? If you try, you can try walking. You try jumping down, ends up not working. But what you can do is you can create a bridge. Right, the yellow one's not even necessary for this. You can just create a bridge. You can do that with the yellow one, the green one. There's no need for the yellow one. But yeah, so if you notice, this entire area is green. So, which means that this room can be solved using the green gun, right? So if you solve this place before, you know that you can create a line with the green gun, and then using that line, you can create a bridge. That's something you already know before, right? So yellow gun isn't necessary for that one. Okay. Building a bridge can get you overwhelmed. That's what it's just mentioning about. Create a bridge. Yellow liquid. All my blocks in my gun are gone, but I can move this. Something we already done. Right. Get all these blocks. Spice one? Oh. Now in the next one. Next level 5. The problem may not be where you're going, but how you get there. Okay. 4. Okay, this is from the previous. You guys remember we weren't able to get here because we had the blue gun to solve this, right? If you do have the green gun and you end up coming back to here again, right? Something we learned by obtaining the yellow gun was that room called a link in the chain reaction, right? And what we learned is if we connect everything together, we can get rid of the center part, and everything starts to fall apart, and then we can just move through it, right? That's something we learned. We already been here before, but we weren't able to do it. Once you attain the green gun, right? The way we attain the yellow gun is by doing what we just did here, right? By connecting everything together, getting rid of the centerpiece. Oh, I trolled that one. Okay, sorry. Getting rid of the centerpiece,